viewers, welcome to the Mr. Spouse Show. Today we are going to talk to Mrs. Opoku-Baffour of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, Kuntunse, that's Trinity Congregation. She's my very good friend from childhood. So, Mama, you are welcome to the Mr. Spouse Show. Thank you. We'd like to know more about you and also about your ministry, whether like when you met Papa, whether he was a minister before you met him or you got married before he became a minister. We want to know about that aspect, like something small about you, career and other stuff.
Okay, as you rightly said, Mrs. Opoku-Baffour. I'm blessed with 2 kids, a boy and a girl. I'm an administrative manager at the Barata Prosthetic and Orthoptics Training College. That is where we train students of how to do these artificial legs for the amputees. So I'm the administrative manager there. And also I fellowship with Trinity Congregation, that's of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana at Kuntunse. Okay, when I met Papa was already commissioned. Yeah, so I would say he was already a reverend minister because he was a commissioned minister before we met.
Is that when you met him, like, or maybe during his studies at Trinity,
Yeah,
you guys met?
Yeah, when we met, he was still at Trinity.
Okay.
Yeah, he came for a program at our church. We normally used to have those Thursday prayer meeting at Ebenezer Congregation, Ashaluchi. Yeah, so he came to minister there. That was faith clinic. So that was where we first met. But when we met, we were not so friends, should I say. We were not close. It was like, I was the church administrator by then. So we just came to minister and went. It was later we exchanged contact. Even with that, we were not so close. But it was somewhere in August 2015 that we started talking about the relationship.
But like you said, he was in training to become a minister.
Yeah.
And were you not that kind of maybe skeptical about me going to be Asafomaame, me marrying, and also this one?
Okay,
Didn't you have that?
With my distance, as I said, initially there was no conversation like becoming the wife of the Reverend Minister. It was somewhere in August 2015. That was when this conversation started. But initially, when it started, for me, I was not so I don't want to use the word never, but as I was growing up, there were prophecies that I married a man of God, even though I didn't know where the man of God would come from. So when it came, it was like, maybe it is a prophecy coming through. So even though I couldn't just say yes to him, I told my uncle, who was a very close one to me, because he was very prayerful, and he was like, if a man of God wants to marry you, what are you waiting for? Madam, go and say yes. So that was how it happened. I had a lot of prophecies concerning marrying to a man of God from my initial stage when I was growing up. Even I didn't know where the man of God would come from. So when it came, it wasn't something so new to me, even though, I didn't know, but it wasn't something so new because there had been prophecies about that to me before.
And I'm sure you are aware of responsibility that comes with being a minister's spouse.
Yeah.
You were ready for that, all those
I would say
challenges
I was so ready because I had not been there before. But even because I had been told about marrying a man of God, I had made up my mind that when it comes, I was going to accept that with the responsibilities, you bear with like many.
Yes.
So because I have not been there before, I wouldn't say I was so ready, but I would say I was a bit prepared for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say I was a bit prepared for it. Yeah.
Okay. So, for how long have you been an Asafomaame? How long have you?
Okay, 2nd January will be my 6th year since I got married.
Wow, so you've been Asafomaame for 6 years.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah,
I didn't know
6
you
years.
did 6 years. And how has the journey been? How has it been?
Oh, I would say it has been difficult. I would say it has been easy because sometimes there are ups and downs in this our work that we do. Yeah, so it's not so difficult and it's not so easy, let me put it that, because we encounter some challenges on the way. Sometimes things move the way you want, because it's not every time that you get things to move the way you want. So maybe when it doesn't move our way, we might say it's not easy. Yeah, but God has been faithful, so yeah.
And managing your career alongside the ministry, how do you do it? How do you cope with it?
That one is right, but it's so easy.
And with the kids too.
Yeah, because especially when I am, you're supposed to report me at early as 7:30. Yeah, but I would say Papa to have been helpful. Yeah, because initially I was working at teaching, so we used to go together, but now had to, because of the traffic and all that, I had to see transfer to Mr. now. So yeah, he has been helpful in such a way that I get the kids prepared, he takes them to school. So I can also leave for work and pick them up as well. And so even though it's not easy, he has been very helpful and make it convenient for both of us. And I have my mom too around sometimes to take care of them when I'm not home. So I return. But now my papa returns.
Your mom is here or your...
She came to festival because of the COVID. She's still here. Yeah, so she's been here for getting to 3 years now.
Oh, that's...
Yeah. And now my papa comes earlier than me, but still he's able to take care of the kids till I come. So I would say because of the way he has been helping, yeah, it's good.
And I said Papa is a tent minister. It means he is also working somewhere.
Yeah, he's with the Christian Council of Ghana.
Oh, okay. So, and but definitely still, I'm sure his Saturdays are busy.
Yeah, that one Saturday prayer meeting from 6 to 8:30.
Sometimes you have to go for a wedding and other stuff.
And revivals. And, you know, it's not so easy, but God has seen us through, so it's okay. But even though he's a tent minister, I can see the work he does is more or less like a full-time.
Yeah, I understand. Like when we are in Shalom, sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially if you are really minister there and you are tent minister, definitely you do the work of a full-time minister.
Well, there's not like a second minister.
Yes. Okay, so another thing, you said there were some challenges in that. Can you give us some specific challenges that you've had, especially with the members of the church? Sometimes they not agree with you, style, aside from your style of dressing and everything. Sometimes they could be.
With the members, I would say I've not encountered some challenges with them, but
Super Asafomaame.
oh, not that sports of my bar. God being so good, where we are, like the members are very cooperative and very supportive. Let me put it that way. Yeah, but a little bit challenging. You can even, but sometimes when you are going for the program, you have to sit down and make sure that even just in terms of address, you have to be very careful.
Yes.
Yeah, and also sometimes there might be a program, but because of the kids, you might not be able to go, and the church members will be asking, hey, where is Mama? Sometimes Papa will come and tell they were asking of you. Sometimes you wish to go. That's sort of the case, especially looking at the time, maybe it is a revival in the night. You see that this program, I really wish to go to pray, but you can't go because sometimes the kids, one might be home to help them with their assignments, and you can't say Papa should stay home because obviously he's going to leave the program. So I would say that has also been a challenge because sometimes I feel for those programs I really need to attend, but you can't go.
And also, you being, why I asked about the challenge, you are young, and I'm sure definitely there are a lot of women or some people in the church who are very old and others. How comfortable are you being Asafomaame, your age, and like combining it with the and how the church will also see, how they see you?
Okay, with mine, I would say I was very fortunate because we had an Asafomaame before we came. That is Mrs. Abigail in different form. She too is Abigail. So when we came here, even though I was young,
she's a bit older than you.
Yeah, she's more older. She's like a mother. She's older than me. Yes. So when we came, fortunately for me, she took me and groomed me and taught me some things that I need to know. How to even relate to the elderly, how to relate with the youth. Yeah, I would say she has been very helpful because when I came out to the scene, looking at the church, we have grown-ups in the women for the church. Sometimes someone can even pass some comments to you, but as a young lady, you have to just accept it in good faith. So she has been helping in that because she has taught me how to even respond to some criticism that maybe, because sometimes some comments, maybe you might feel that sometimes they feel you are young. So when I even pass, I'm talking to my daughter or I'm talking to my child, forgetting that you are a minister, but I would say she has been helping that. So she has trained me of how to respond to those criticisms or some comments passed around. So with that, I would say I'm able to manage it. With her help because she's still here. Yeah, even though the husband is now in the Atlantic College, she's still here.
So at least you have a mother that you can talk to, or you can just lean on once a while. Yeah. And you can even say shout out to her. You can just shout. Just greet her. Maybe she will watch her.
Yeah, okay.
Just to thank her for what she
okay. I would say I'm very grateful to Mrs. Abigail from home. Yeah, she too is Abigail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Abigail and Abigail. And she has been very helpful. I will even say with even my prayer life, she has contributed a lot because you know there are some challenges you can't bear it, but it comes with time. Sometimes you feel that things are very difficult, especially you, the wife. Yeah, but she always talks to me because she also had the experience because she had been Asafomaame for quite a long time. So she sometimes shares her experiences with me and advises me of how to deal with certain issues, which has been very helpful because you bear witness sometimes the challenge you see that this is really a difficult moment that you really need someone to talk to. And I can see that she's someone I'm able to go to every time I have a problem. And anytime I leave her place or I part way with her, I feel that yes, some burden has been lifted. She has said something or she has advised me in a very good way. So for that, I always say I'm very appreciative for what she has been doing.
And aside from just one little challenge, we are not knowing, some people see it as a challenge, some also, Papa is young and he being in this big church, I'm sure there are lots of young guys, young ladies. How do you cope with this, especially the ladies, some of them, since Papa is younger, they might be, in terms of jealousy, do you feel jealous that Papa is closer to them? Sometimes that's
as human as we are, you can't say all is perfect with you. Because maybe sometimes you see someone's closeness alone. Maybe you might not even talk, but within you, I don't want to use the word maybe jealous, but uncomfortable. Yeah, you might. Yeah, I've been in such a situation before. You feel uncomfortable because, especially as you said, looking at your husband being so young. But I try
some ladies too will also decide to
but I've also tried to make sure I don't let those things get so much in me. Yeah, because in as much as he's there, you also look at the work God is also using him to do. The one that you can use to pray for him. Yeah, because if you also allow the devil to take your mind so much on those things, sometimes it also comes to destroy things for you and your home. So even though I'm human, sometimes I feel uncomfortable. I try as much as not even talk about it more because it can even damp his spirit and other things. But to make sure
just have to support him and everything.
And then pray.
So since you became Asafomaame, has it helped you, in terms of finances and other, not even that, only that, every aspect of your life, Has it been good, like being an Asafomaame?
Me, I would say it is a great blessing to me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because sometimes when you sit down, you look at certain things that has changed in your life, even my prayer life, the way maybe you will deal with things when it happens. Because sometimes I see that there are certain things when it comes, if not that you are a minister's wife, the way you will react to it.
Yes.
Yeah, and it has also helped me with how to have a relationship with people, because I've come to understand that we have different kind of people that we will meet so far this work is concerned. So it has also grown me of how to deal with everyone, any kind of person I meet. Yeah, in finances too, I would say yes, because God being so good, Papa we are blessed. So because sometimes you go for a program, you'll be blessed. So I would say yes, that one to pastor. And it's also given some kind of joy and comfort in me, especially in training my kids.
Yes.
Yeah, in training my kids. I really find some kind of joy in me to see my kids. So I would say it has been a great blessing to me. Yeah, especially in terms of, as I said, training up my kids. I always feel fulfilled and feel some kind of joy that at least I know and I'm sure, I'm rest assured my children will grow up in Christ. Yes, that love gives me some kind of joy and fulfillment.
So you've had, because since you became a minister's spouse, you've had that kind of fulfillment that's good. Okay, so Mama, where do you see your ministry, the ministry with you and Papa, where do you see in the next, let me just short term, 5 years? I hope so much into long term.
Okay.
Yes, in the next 5 years, where do you see?
I would say, for what God has even started, I can say to His glory that in the next 5 years, you take the ministry globally, not only in Ghana, across the world. Because sometimes, when I look at some of the things God uses him to do, I know that yes, God will surely take him far, and he will not be limited to the country, but globally to share the word and also to save me.
So, you see, Mama, I said we're going to miss the tree and like we were both enjoying the So we thank you very much for honoring our invitation and for accepting us to your church to talk to us about minister's house. Just a quick one. I would like you to advise, give a little advice to other ministers' spouses. Some of them want to leave. They wish they were even not only severe. They wish they never entered into this thing at all. You know, this, as we said, it comes with a great responsibility, and some ministers' spouses wish they never entered into this thing. And some are also outside willing to become, they've received some invitations from other ministers to get married to them, but because of the responsibilities and another thing that they perceive, they just don't want to enter into it at all. So I'd like for you to give them just a little advice, more advice.
First, I will start with that. Before God calls anyone, He has plans for you. Yeah. So if someone who is already a sophomore, you first have to know that God didn't bring you there just to abandon what you need. He has plans for you, and He is going to grant you every strength you need. Sometimes we are humans, and maybe we let our emotions come before us. That is how I see it, because I've been there before. That will even make you wish you were never there. So the little I can say is, in all things, we should look up to the one who has called us. Because once you have taken this road, you should also know that the challenge will be more. The devil will never fold their hands to watch you just save people's lives. No. And when the devil tries your husband, is not getting him, surely you and your kids are going to have problems. So the little advice I can give is, in every time, we have to be the support to our husbands. We are all human. Before anything, we should just first see them as human before even their appointment as ministers. I mean, that is something that has always helped me. Anytime something happens, before I judge my husband, I first consider him that he's human and he's bound to what? To do anything he wants to. When we see it that way, it doesn't make you become so disappointed in even occupying this position. Because you know that so far as he's human, he's bound to offend you. He's bound to do something to hurt you. So the little I can tell our Asafomaame out there is you have to just exercise patience. And no matter how difficult the issue is, there's nothing too big for God. Sometimes we think it is getting too much for us. But I know that at the end, God will always be there for us. So we should see our husbands first as human. And that they are bound to offend us or hurt us in any way. They are not superhumans. Even though they are ministers, they are human as us. The same way we can offend them and always support them with our prayers, because that is what will keep them going. And the incoming ones, I will tell them that it is a blessing, they shouldn't be afraid.
Yes.
One, the responsibility, the God will also give you the strength. Sometimes you even sit down, you don't even know where that strength is. The things you do, you yourself will say that, am I the one who did this? And I've been following you, so I'll even use you as an example. Yeah, sometimes online, even though I don't comment, but the things you do, I know that it is not by your own strength. So we are telling them that they should come. You need more Asafomaame. They should accept the invitations and come, because it's a great blessing.
Yes.
Yeah, it really comes with a blessing, even though there will be some ups and downs.
Yes.
There's still greater blessings for us. So that is all I can say. So the most important thing is prayer.
Yes.
Yeah. In all things, we go on our knees and we pray for them. Because if you just action, instead of being able to do one and that. I don't know, madam, a yet drink.
Yes.
I people who not one for car, a yet drink. Even now, they will even perceive it. Something because they are jealous, they are not because they are yes, but
they are not who person wants to be like they do.
Because the man, because they are now, and I in such a way. You
have that initiative.
Yes.
Especially once you give birth.
Yes.
God gives you with something so special.
Yeah. And our instinct really works.
Yes, the instinct.
Yeah. So they are the problem is yeah. When the jealous being you don't push again. You just send everything to God. Say God, you just have your way. Because I am until the share at the right time, who can so beat you. So that the time I can see.
That's a power. What can be grace? In fact, why someone they can make what's somebody what can you mean? And you are very knowledgeable and wise. So you kind of
Thank you.
The what kind of make sure some say you are very wise. The things that came out from your mind, you are very, very wise and intelligent too. Intelligent. Let me just say this. From childhood, I know Mama. She's, one of the best. Since she was one of the best in her class, and the one thing. Anytime I see her, so the intelligence is there. Until someone working in we are very grateful, and I'm sure our Asafomaame out there, they've heard this, and they will also take into account and also buy into it so that it will also help them as they journey through this life of ministry. Because a human, like we said, it's not easy to be an Asafomaame. It's never easy to be an Asafomaame. And we thank God very much, sir, not only the Presbyterian Church. I'm sure, sir, with time, as time goes on, like you said, the ministry will just spread across the globe, yes. And I pray that when you study who are mommy and papa, I hope I'm not somebody in our So, Mommy, thank you very much.
Thank you
for being with us and for having us.
And also, I thank you also for allowing me to come on your show.
Okay, so, Papa, when you met Mrs Opoku-Baffour, what was the idea? What came to mind in terms of, or with regards to her being an Asafomaame, were you a bit skeptical, or you, once you saw her, you realized, no, this is the woman I want, or she could be an Asafomaame to me? Because like she said, you were already a minister before she came.
Well, let me also add my voice to greet your viewers. I think that it wasn't really a difficult thing because she was already working in the church setting. Yes, so even though I was a minister, I actually met her when I was in the seminary. So even though I was a minister, she was already the administrator of a church, of a Presby church. So I think that she already had a kind of church environment, church setting, and so usually it's people who have that knowledge about church environment, and especially what goes on in a church like the Presby church. Sometimes it's not difficult to adjust so much. So I was not skeptical in terms of helping in the ministry, because usually if you want to marry with that as one of your criteria, it becomes difficult when the person is absolutely new to things of ministry, things of church work, and that is where we bring in fathers and mothers to help train our spouses. And that is why even as ministers, before we are commissioned, we spend time with the leadership of the church to train spouses, because it's important that the spouse also becomes acquainted with the thing that we are going to do. But I think that maybe some of the training she likely would have had already, being the administrator of the church and also being closer to the minister's spouse at that time. So maybe I was privileged. So thank you very much. God bless you.
Oh, Papa. Has she been helpful as you perceive? Oh, Papa.
Do it for people who are old in ministry.
Oh no, Papa, what you just said is, like I said, you are very knowledgeable, as I said to her. And I've been seeing your ministry on Facebook, and Papa, said I'm person me never be through when I was on that Papa, we want to thank you very much. Thank you very much for even accepting to do just this little one for us. God bless you. So thanks to our camera woman and cameraman, Auntie Gifty. God bless you. I'm sure for the state that you also to help us with. God bless. Let's work with you.